Hello, this is Matt Turgeon. This is going to be parts 2 and 3 from a series of videos for the MH elementary teachers, but for anybody, I guess, that wants to know about Easiteach. And in particular, I'm going through the different toolbars and highlighting features that I think are useful for elementary teachers. For all teachers, but in particular, I think for elementary teachers with a mind toward elementary teachers. Um, Pause and rewind. That's the whole idea. I'm going to go fast. I'm going to try to go fast to keep the video short. But you can obviously go back and review things. I'm going to focus on the views, and I'm going to focus on the utilities toolbar. The views are found over on the side, and depending on how you click this arrow here, you can actually move the different toolbars back and forth. But views, you've got normal, glass mode, split screen, and storyboard. Glass mode is extremely useful. It's how I got these Morrow Hall images. If I go to, for example, Google and look at maps, I can zoom in here on the middle of the US and we can look at a satellite image. Looking at, what was that? Springfield, Illinois, I'm guessing. But there's so many Springfields, right? So now I'm in glass mode, and this one you may have to rewind a few times to try it. I want to grab this image. I click the glass. I like to click on the grab rectangle. Clicking on that now, it's ready to grab a rectangle, and I simply highlight the region that I want. Maybe hard for you to tell, but what I'm doing is I'm choosing a rectangle that is what I want, which is this. Okay, I grabbed it, insert it into the current page. Okay. Now I like to go back. This means go back. And there's that image. Now I can copy and paste that. So I'm going to copy. I have to select it first. So I selected, I lassoed it. Hit the copy right here. Go to another slide. Hit the paste. There it is again. And actually, you can recover a lot of the original stuff. I'm going to undo because I'm not sure what it just did. I can go through and as you can see, that got a little glitchy on me, but I can go through and crop and actually reveal some of the original stuff that was there. So that's really, really useful in glass mode to be able to do that. Storyboard mode is great to look at. And again, I went over here to storyboard mode to look at all of your slides. And if you make a slide you like and you want to copy it, you simply copy, and now I'm ready to paste. I can go down here and I can paste. So you see I made these extra copies. If I want to delete slides, I simply click on them, or I can highlight multiple slides. If I wanted to delete both of these slides, and I hit the delete key. Hit the delete key. Hit the delete key. Delete key. So that's glass mode. Now utilities is an extremely that was storyboard, and the previous one was glass mode when you go, which I typically use to grab images. One of the most useful and really dynamic and interactive and exciting toolbars is utilities. If it's something cool, it's probably under utilities. First, I want to show you how to lock something to the background, such as these images. How did I lock these images to the background? You highlight the thing you're interested in, and you click on this little padlock, and now it's locked to the background. I can't select it actually. So then you're wondering, well, how do I access that? You unlock it with the key. So when you can see that the key is engaged, so now I can highlight it and I can do things to it. But when I do things to it, that doesn't unlock it. If I unlock the key, you see how it's still locked. I can go up here, and if I wanted to tweak this image, I would hit the key under utilities, and now I have access to those and I can move them around. But when I'm done and I hit the key again, they're not accessible. To make them accessible forever, I can use the key, then I hit the padlock again, and now that's unlocked. See? I don't have the key on. I've got my normal selection tool, but I can select it. I'm going to undo because I actually do want that locked. Those are locked again. So that's how to unlock and unlock. Now, if you want to, let's look at under this links. There's various actions you can do with objects. So I'm gonna insert a shape, and I want it to have reasonable borders and stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna insert a shape, and then I'm gonna do some stuff with it. I've decided I want that to have a fill color, so I'm going to go into effects. You may remember I can insert various fill colors into that. Change the size. So what I want to do is I want this thing to, I could use this to load or run. What you can do is you can make that a link to a web page. If I click this button, then I insert a web link into here, like cut and paste a web link, that would open up a browser. I could link to another slide. I believe that linking to a slide is under tag though, so that could be go to a certain slide, and I could choose one of these. So they called that slide toolbars, and now if I click on it, it takes me to that slide. I'm going to undo that feature. I don't want it to do that anymore. I like to animate. And you can hide and show on click. This one's very popular when you want to just reveal and show things. You kind of have to know where it is, but it helps you to see where it is by mousing over it, and then you can click and reveal things. So you can put something underneath that. So for example, I can move this over, and I want that to be above, so I'm going to go over here and choose order and bring it to the top. Now I've got it hide and show on click, so it can show and reveal things. I'm just clicking on that. That's one of the actions that you can do with this. You can hide when over, which is very simply gonna, as soon as I mouse over it, it reveals it. And look how I'm lassoing a lot. I'm going in to get it. Disable that hide when over. What I want to do is now animate that. I want that to follow a path, so animating is one of the most fun things to do. And the key to it is that the first follows the second. The first follows the second. So I highlight both. I'm going to highlight this hexagon and then this curve. And I click on follow over 5 seconds. It's going to follow that. And I can do this in a repeating fashion too. This should do that over and over again. Now if you don't want that to show, you can highlight that. Let's make that, really light gray or white. I'm going to leave it as gray just so you see the object, but you see you can change that to white. You can make it really thin so you can just barely see it. You can go into effects and make it really, really, really light gray, or just a lot of people just like to make it white. So there's the object. Now if I want that to go slower, I'll change this 5 to 30, but it's not going to take effect until right now you can see the blinking cursor. I have to hit enter, and now it will slow down. That's animation, which is one of the most fun features. Now I really like text frame. I don't know why it's here, but text frame behaves a little differently. If I make that text frame and then I go into it and start typing, you can't see what color it is because I'm on white text. And it continues. So I do this for daily agendas. So I have a box that I actually have a whole slide. I'll show you that. This is how I do my agendas. So you can scroll up and down through that and see my agendas for the various days, but yet it's all contained in one slide. So you can see that's still doing its thing. I can freeze that if I want. The speaking, I don't really see the point. I mean, there might be, I mean, it's speech options. You can go in there and play with that. Background is really useful because you can choose different colors for the background. You can choose to insert images. You could drag something here from the multimedia bank. So this is as good as a time as any because it's not quite it's not a toolbar, but the multimedia bank, I'll review again. I went down here to resources in multimedia bank. And you can go into categories and look at all these various things. Let's go to Seaside. The way it works is you grab it and drag it in. You grab it and drag it in. And if you want the sizes to be larger, you do that. If you want them to be smaller, you click that button. So that's background. I'm going to see if there's anything else under background that I want to show you. Various options for if you were to put in an image, what you want it to look like, and then you have a larger choice of background colors. This is really, really useful. It's the object toolbar. So what you do is you select, you've got an object. You want to sort of control the features of that object. I'm going to go to and delete some things. So this object, I want to control the features. So I get it the size I want and the orientation that I want. And then I want to make it so maybe it doesn't size. Oh, okay, so somebody can move it around, but it's hard for them to change the size. They can't change the size, which maybe I want to preserve that. I don't know why you'd make it hidden, but you can make it hidden. You can make it so it doesn't move. So it's not like you... Oh, that's interesting. I tried to undo move, but it doesn't like that. I'm not sure what these mean, external object or smooth. Play around with that. One of the most kind of exciting features of Easiteach, I think, one of the greatest potentials is, I think I just figured out the move thing. I think you can undo move, but you have to at least be able to size the thing, but you can't move it around. But you can rotate it. Change the size, but you can't move it around. Okay. So if you choose to make this object copy, watch what happens. And this is a little easier to do in use mode, but it doesn't really matter. When I click on it and go to move it, I actually just get copies. And then the common question is, what about those? These I can just move around like regular objects, and I can resize them and everything. In fact, I believe that if I make that so that it can't resize, that can't resize, but note the original objects, nor will those resize, which is, this is a really, really useful tool. You know, you can make the alphabet going across. You can write the alphabet, and then group those objects. And you know, for the letter, if I make the letter A, if you want the students to see the handwritten letter A, doing this with a mouse, it's a little messy. Then I could group that, and I could make it copy and not resize. And then when I grab that, I'm grabbing the letter A. But I can still delete it because it's not locked like these letters. I can't touch those unless I use the key. Now it's locked again. Extremely useful box, especially for copying objects. Style, I think, is a little bit silly. I don't use it much. I can't really see a difference between style and edit and effects. So that I'm considering to be the end of this video on the views and the utilities. and I'll show you some of the features of the others next.